This week, we're finishing The Knight and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, otherwise known as Then He Leaves Her High and Dry.
Hi, readers. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine, the book pod where we celebrate the heroines we love
and roast the ones we don't. We'll be your TBR FGMs.
Fairy godmothers.
And find you the best 5-star reads, the spiciest romance, and save you from the overhyped DNFs.
So grab your favorite drink and get cozy. Welcome to Season 3.
Part 2.
The Knight and the Moth.
Spooky, spooky.
They have sex in this part.
Your highlight.
But yeah, it happens if that's what you were waiting for.
Yeah,
so
that it does.
Not surprising. It is a little weird, but...
Yeah. All the diviners are missing one by one until eventually it's only 6 left. And then before she's body snatched, Home Dog comes rescue her.
She escapes.
He helps her. He shadow slides into the room and he's like, whoa, what the fuck happened? And she's like, I almost killed you.
Well, I thought she went to ask for help first,
Oh,
and then
that
she
did
came
happen.
back.
Yeah.
Because, all her girlfriends are gone, and she's like, well, this can't work for me. But I did not feel her level of care or panic.
Yeah.
Because there was this kind of artificial closeness with number 1, I think, where she felt like more of a sisterhood to her. But even when 1 disappeared, it didn't feel like it registered with number 6.
Yeah. Because it was sad, but you felt more sad for the people disappearing than necessarily 6 experiencing them disappearing. If that makes sense.
But she eventually takes Bartholomew and they venture out. So her intent is to track down Benji, the king, and ask for his help finding these diviners because the abbess doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So she escapes, she runs up, and she runs into a knight who's like, hey man, I can't let you in, and also he's not here, so we'll keep an eye out. So she's turned away, she returns, she confronts the abbess, and the abbess is like, don't worry about it, my child.
They're naughty.
They're bad girls. But you're my favorite.
But be careful because you're also a bad girl. So be a good one.
Yeah. And she gets locked in and she's like, I think something is bad is going to happen. And that's when our boy Rory shows up, sneaks in, does his little coin trick. And it's, okay, that's a cool move. I thought that was neat.
He rescues her. They leave with Bartholomew. Barty Crouch. I'm just gonna...
Barty Crouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bartholomew is hard to say.
Bartholomew?
It's hard to say. Barty.
Barty.
So they leave. They're riding on a horse. And I love this bit because she thinks that Rory is an omen because he has the coin. That would have been so interesting.
He should have been an omen. It would have been better than how this turned out.
Yeah. Because I thought that's where it was going because they each have an object that they're more drawn to. I thought that they would be the next iteration of omens. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, better.
Yeah. They get intercepted, I think, by Benji and Maud. And then they're like, okay, we're just going to have to take you with us on our little side quest. And she's like, where the fuck are we going? And they go into the creepiest library with a little gremlin man who turns out to be the second omen, the scribe dude.
I do want to backtrack a little bit because when does she escape? On her own? And she attacks the people, the dudes?
It's immediately after this.
Oh, okay.
I had to look that up, too.
It all kind of blurs together at this point. Okay, readers, if you've read, this kind of romantasy setup, we're on a quest now.
Yeah.
Part 1.
Yeah, literally. They meet the freaky scribe guy. They challenge him for his object, and he doesn't play by the rules, and he asks them questions that are, impossible. And the important point of this is that the way they're able to destroy him and kill him is that he gets distracted by 6's blood. And he does this freaky little sucks her blood thing. And everybody's like, ew, that's gross. And then they kill him.
And that is because
there is rose water, well water, whatever.
The spring water that she drowns in, she's ingested so much of it that her blood is poisoned with it. And drinking the spring water is a no-no, so I wonder why. Something's going on with the spring water. But what's also creepy about the scribe thing is when she looks at him, his eyes are completely made of stone.
Yeah.
And that's where it ruined it for me. Because I'm like, oh, now we know why she's wearing a veil. Because the scribe needs the spring water. And she's been drinking the spring water, but she can't show her eyes to anyone.
Yeah. Because it's also alluded to, I think one of the sisters or the other diviners, right before she disappears, she like lifts up her veil and she's like, what have they done to us?
Mm-hmm.
But that makes sense. I did not pick up on this one, so Jordan is much smarter than I.
No, I think like what's easy to fall into, I ended up skimming big portions of this book. And I think if you skim a little harder, you miss some of the clues, which is good writing, right? Like if you're burying burying? That's a hard... You have problems with Bartholomew. I have problems with burying.
Not a B day today.
No, it is not. But so if you're a good writer, like embedding some of these little details that hint at what's to come can be skipped, which I don't think is as easy to miss if you're listening to the book.
Oh, interesting.
Because you're forced to listen to every word.
Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, after this traumatic incident with the freaky man who tries to drink her blood, he, like, licks her, too, which I don't love.
Yeah, it was bad.
She freaks the fuck out, and she's like, okay, Bartholomew, we are getting the fuck out of here, because what the fuck are they doing killing omens? So they leave for, like, 3 days, and they kind of try to investigate where the foundlings come from to try to, like, figure out, like, where am I supposed to go? I know who I am vaguely, but I don't have any memories. Until these, like, gross, creepy men are trying to obviously harm these like young girls. And so they get into a fist fight. It's broken up by guards and they're like, we have like a bolo out for you. You have to come with us. And she's like, oh no, like who is trying to find us? Maybe they found the other diviners or whatever. And it's just Rory and Benji.
Yeah. They paid a lot of money for them to be pulled off the street. But she's kind of badass in the scene where she and Bartholomew, her like bat-looking gargoyle, beat the shit out of these people with a hammer and chisel. Yeah. Like, she takes a hammer and swings it and breaks this guy's arm. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's another clue. Like, okay, maybe number 6 is, like, actually, like, a bigger chick. Like, she's intimidating in her own right.
Yeah.
Like,
I love it.
I want more of that.
I know. Fight people.
Yeah.
So they come back, and then she has basically this heart-to-heart explanation with Benji, where Benji explains what they're doing. And essentially, he read his grandfather's journal all about his, like, heretic ideas or whatever. And Benji is convinced that he needs to take up the mantle and kill all the omens because they're baddies.
They're not true gods.
Yeah. They were actually, like, humans who were given their stone items made from the well and then became gods.
By drinking the spring water.
Yeah. And so he wants them to die so that he can be...
So he can, I don't know, give...
There wasn't any kind of end state.
Well, and I think that's probably the point she's trying to make is that there's not... Because we don't really think that the towns are in bad shape.
Yeah.
Like, the diviners are drowning to divine. But it's the cost of religion, maybe. But so far, like, the Tor, like, this country has been at war with itself for centuries. Like, no one could unite. But when the omens, the gods, arrived, they were able to, like, create stability in the country. So him wanting to dismantle that is like, well, is that a good or... But, like, yeah, they lied. They're just humans who became immortal by drinking the well water. But they also have done good things for their communities. So, yeah, the religion is a sham, but it is working.
Yeah.
So should you destroy it or just let the people continue believing?
Yeah.
Because it's better for the people.
And I think he explains that he's just pissed off because, like, Aisling Cathedral and then the abbess are kind of, like, elevated above him as the king. And he's kind of, like, just a figurehead.
And so collecting tons of money while they're at it.
Yeah. So that's kind of, like, his pitch, and he has to get drunk to give it, which I thought was like a fun, like I could never figure out his like borderline alcoholism, whatever thing. And she's like, I'm not really sold on this. I just want to find my diviners. And he's like, well, if you come and help me, we will send out a whole legion of knights to find your people if they exist, which is kind of crazy because we find out a little bit later that he knows that they...
Exactly what is happening to the diviners.
Yeah.
But he needs her because she adds validity to his status as a king, because if he's in the company of a diviner, like, obviously the church approves of him. And she's immediately recognizable with her veil.
Yeah. Because they're doing this on the down low.
Yeah. No one knows. Like, most of the knights don't know. Like, all the little village elders and nobles don't know. And...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get the wax scene.
The wax. This was weird.
It was a little bit weird.
Like, and also how did this work?
Know.
I like physically, I don't think it works.
No.
Because it would break.
Yeah. It was hot. Oddly
literally hot.
Yes. Temperature and smutty wise, but it was also like weird.
Yeah. I think this happens after like they battle the second omen, right?
I think it happens here. Like it's immediately following. He's like, I'm going to make you some armor.
Because she got in the fight and he's like, oh, you need protection, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. He takes her into the armor, he being Rory, and he's like, all right, we need to make custom armor for you. And the only way to do that is for you to wear this like dress that is sewn to your body so I can see everything about you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to pour hot jars of wax over your body parts one by one. So we'll start with the arms. That way we can make a cast for the armor. Now, I am not an armorer. I'm not a blacksmith. I don't know how you make armor in the first place, but I feel like there's a lot. There's an easier way to do this than pouring hot wax. Like, I don't know, like a tape measure. I don't know.
Or like, is he doing this to his fellow male
No.
knights? Like giving him a nice rub
Let
down?
me pour some wax over the intersection of your hip and thigh. Just to make sure it's going to fit well.
Oh my God. But of course, he like leaves her high and dry right before he does like her
not
chest
dry.
area. Distinctly not. But he dips out with some kind of like snotty comment about like dragging her in the dirt with him, et cetera, et cetera. That was our little like token romance.
To get you like that's at 30 or 40%. We got to get you to 65 for the rest of it.
Yep. So they're on their way to the next stop, which is the like cold mountainous whatever. And on the way there, they get intercepted by a sprite, which are the like bad pixie whatever. Try to kill them. Doesn't succeed, but it's like pretty close call or whatever. I only bring this up because of the line that I love.
Oh God, this line.
So this is Rory talking. He says, unlikely. Rory's gaze flickered to my face. She's a guest of the king's. Affront her in any way, the knighthood will answer. Attempt to look beneath her shroud. She and the gargoyle will respond as they see fit, with full immunity to any carnage tended. The gargoyle batted his eyes. Oh, Bartholomew, he's dreamy.
Okay, I love Bartholomew's line here. I laughed at that one. So, like, well done, Rachel Gillig. But God, this is playing into the who hurt you.
Yeah,
joke.
The like touch her and you'll die.
Yeah.
But she'll kick your ass. Yeah, yeah. I just like that Bartholomew like breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, I know. It's so cute.
But yeah, so this kind of speaks to why the king is like taking up the mantle a little bit, because basically at all of these, the 5 villages he's visiting or whatever, he basically has to like, what's the word? Abased himself?
Yeah. Yes.
Prostrate
something.
himself.
Yeah. He has to remove all his clothes and like be vulnerable in front of the like aristocracy to be like, I am a king for you and for the people, and I have no like nothing without you.
Yeah. So they strip him down naked and like throw him in a cold pool for an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
And so they use this as the opportunity for Rory and Six to like sneak out and put like well water as like a trap, be like, come out and get it. Oh my gosh, this well water is just sitting here. And obviously it works. The Ormond like comes out and then they follow him back to his like freaky castle. And then they're like, I challenge you for your oar. And he's like, okay, cool. I'm going to fight her instead though. And Rory's like, no, you can't do that. And he's like, well, that's the only way that I'm going to give you my oar. And she's like, trust me, I can do it. And then they have a 3-day.
Literally has never fought anyone in her entire life.
And then they have a like 3-day waiting period interlude for some reason.
Yeah, because the Ormond, because he's so kind and compassionate, he's like, okay, I'm going to give you some training, great, some training period. Go have fun.
Yeah. And then we get this like ridiculous Rocky training montage.
No, it's so bad.
It immediately started and I was like, there's no way this is real.
Because we're going to spin number 6 up from like, she's been a diviner drowning her entire life.
Yeah.
She's going to kill the equivalent of a god.
Yeah. Yep. In 3 days.
3 days. And everyone is confident about this. It's totally fine.
Well, like, they do kind of like, oh, I'm like nervous about it. But they're like, don't be nervous. Like, she'll do it. And it's like,
This was so silly. Like, this was just a plot device.
Yeah, it was stupid. On the last day, though, of course, they have a smutty interlude in, like, a hot springs. Nothing actually happens, but Rory accidentally, like, drowns her, which I thought was, like, an interesting point, and you could tell that he felt, like, super uncomfortable about it, and she recognized that about him, and she's like, "No, it's fine. Like, I don't want us to, like, end on a bad note or whatever. Like, thank you for, supporting me. I'm, like, super nervous about this, whatever." They don't actually do anything. She leaves.
But they do have, like, an intimate conversation where they talk about their past partners.
Yeah.
And she reveals to Rory that she never, like, rolled in the grass with the asshole knight.
Yeah.
And she then confesses very weirdly that she's never finished before.
What a conversation to
And
have.
I'm like, is this like, okay, is this our thing where we're supposed to generate sympathy for her? And, like, you know how in other heroines, like, "Oh, I've never had sex before. Teach me." This
Yeah.
is, "Oh, I've never finished before. Teach me." Like, it's that all over again. It's putting Rory in the more, like, experienced,
Yeah.
like, it just felt so rote.
Yeah, because I feel like it also speaks to your whole, like, why is sex later, like, such a big deal and not at the beginning? I feel like this kinda speaks to it too. It just makes it, like, special that you know what I mean? But, like, okay, cool. Got it.
Yeah, alright, okay.
Yeah. Wake up the next day, have the challenge. Challenge goes kind of sideways, obviously, because he is a god and she is a nun. Except he tells her the fate of the diviners. And he says that one of them showed up the other day,
She
stone
was
cold dead.
tasty.
Ugh. Yeah.
They get eaten
Yeah.
for their blood.
Blech.
Yeah,
Gross.
a little gross.
Obviously traumatizing, but Six defeats him by taking off her veil, and he's like, "Oh, your eyes!" And she's like, "Ah!" And then stabs him, and then he dies, and
Yeah,
they
she creates
win.
she creates a distraction like every underpowered, like, hero ever, and then in that moment of uncertainty,
Yeah.
she charges him.
Yeah.
The Omen, who's probably the strongest of the omens.
Yep, yeah. He dead, though.
He's real dead.
She wakes up in the next stop, basically, because she was, like, really beat down bad, and she walks into the woods and screams, basically, because she's upset about the diviners, obviously, like, grieving.
Yeah.
It still felt a little bit silly.
There's also okay, this is the point where it starts to drag because, like,
Yeah.
you've gone through 2 monster battles, alright, there's 3 more monster battles left, and you're like, "Okay, it's just gonna be this over and over and over again, sprinkled in with some interesting dialogue."
Yeah.
I think we can skip most of that.
Mhm.
So they collect all the, like, the stone tools, and each of the tools can do something, like, both positive and negative. Like, the coin can transport you, and it can also blow things up depending on how you toss it.
Yeah.
All of the tools work the same way. Depending on how you use them, it good or bad.
Mhm.
They finally get to the last omen, which is the Heartless Weaver, and they get to the village, and the village is this kind of, like, oddly nice
Happy.
place. It's working for them, and now as a reader, like, okay, we've finally found the one good omen who probably needs to die but shouldn't,
Mhm.
and they kind of go underground, and I did not like this part. Like, I
No.
don't know, like, this
Ugh.
barely 3-foot wide well they drop into, and the weaver has cultivated, like, silkworms in
Mhm.
these underground caves, and yeah,
Nope.
no,
Don't love it.
no, thank you. But it is just Six as she is kind of making her way through the caves, and she confronts the Heartless Weaver. She gets the whole backstory. Everything is revealed. We won't talk about everything here,
Yeah.
but eventually the Weaver's like, "Please kill me. I'm over this. I'm done. I'm tired."
Same.
Yeah, and so Six uses her hammer and chisel to stab her in the heart, which is a little gruesome.
Yeah.
And we also find out that the Weaver has kept the diviner that was sent to her. Like, that is what we find out is that the abbess has sent the diviners to each of the omens to feed them.
Mhm.
That's how she's been giving them spring water to keep them alive. The Weaver has not been drinking it, and the Weaver also looks like a gargoyle.
Mhm. 'Cause she stopped drinking the well water.
Yeah, so she just turned to stone, which makes me wonder, is our girl Sybil gonna turn into a gargoyle if she stops drinking the well water?
Ooh.
Because she's been drinking it for years.
Yeah. Because during the big battle boss fight with the Abbess, they explain that she always has, like, a favorite from each cohort, and she turns that one into a gargoyle.
Mm-hmm. Cohort, huh?
It felt appropriate. I could not think of another word. But yeah, big boss battle, fight the baddie, killer. And then we get a plot twist, which I saw coming. And if I can see it coming.
I didn't see this one coming.
What? Wow.
I was kind of checked out.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
But no, I don't think even if I was checked back in, I don't know that I would have seen this one coming.
I only saw it because after the whole they almost get eaten by birch trees thing, Benji starts acting weird. And then
the trees. Yeah. I forgot how creepy the trees were.
Did not love that.
They were bad ants. Is what they are. Ants.
Oh, yeah. If you also liked that whole, like, idea, Uprooted by Naomi Novik, that's, like, a main point where the trees, like, eat
carnivorous trees.
Yeah. Super freaky. Love that book. Anyways, he started, like, acting weird after that, and then he had that meeting with the other knights, and Six is like, why isn't Benji or Maud here? And he's like, oh, where are you going? Oh, to meet Rory? Interesting. Loyalty.
I wonder if the king has got a bit of a thing for Sybil.
I wonder that too, because when I was, like, thinking back, the meeting he has when he had to get drunk to explain the history of everything, you could tell that he was, like, nervous. And I don't know if it was a nervous and, like, I'm a kid explaining something to you, or if it's like a...
I think it would be a huge, awesome plot twist if she ended up falling for the king.
What?
I don't know, like, I don't care because I'm not going to read it.
Oh.
But
you're like, someone else.
But it would be so much more interesting.
Yeah, that is true.
For her to, like, legitimately, supposedly fall in love with Rory. But she, as we find out in the end, she makes a deal. Rory is like, just kidding. Like, I'm really not. I don't care about the towns. I want to be king and I want to have all the money.
Oh, Benji says that.
Yeah. Oh. Benji, sorry, not Rory.
I was like, he does what?
Yeah. So, yeah, Benji's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Shocking everyone. And shocking me, at least.
Yeah. Girl.
I know. And he needs Sybil/Six to marry him as a diviner so he has legitimacy as a king and he can, like, keep the country united. Which, fair, reasonable. Okay, yeah. I'll do it. And she must marry him or else he will have Rory and Maud. We haven't talked a lot about Maud. She's a cool character. He's going to have them killed.
Yeah.
So she agrees to it in exchange for their freedom. Rory's like, oh no, but I love you.
Okay, because I will say this is one of the things that irritated me. He, like, still wasn't going or whatever. And then he, like, started to walk away and he was, like, still looking back at her. And then she had, like, a snotty, like, cold sounding, like, go. But it's like, he knows you still love him. Like, pretending that you don't love him isn't going to make him, like, go away faster. Like,
yeah.
It felt like one of those, like, oh, I have to add that in because,
we need the setup for the next book.
Yeah.
We need drama.
Where he, like, thinks that she hates him or whatever. But it's like, okay.
Wouldn't it be so much more interesting? Like, okay, fast forward 6 months. We're in the second book. And she's been spending all this time with the king. And he actually has some, like, legitimate points about how he want to takes down the religion and, like, revise the economy. And she ends up falling in love with him instead.
Interesting. I don't know. Because I feel like Rachel Gillig kind of throws some wrenches in some things.
And then Rory shows back up and he's like, what happened? And she's like, well, I should have been here.
Are you advocating for a love triangle?
Maybe.
Oh, whoa. That's how you can tell that Jordan has no interest in the second book.
I'm over it.
You're like, sorry. Throw a love triangle in there.
I don't mind a love triangle when it's done well because it can create that uncertainty and tension.
Oh, I could see that. I think it's always... There's an insta-love that you know is going to win out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, surprise ending for me.
Yeah.
But overall, not a surprising plot.
Yeah. The plot was whatever. I am glad I read it, though.
Yeah.
It was good.
I do regret spending money on it, though.
Oh, I could see that. Because it was fucking expensive. It was like $15.99 for the audio, or for the, like, ebook.
Yeah.
And you don't actually own it. I will say I had some second thoughts about buying it.
I know, I was mad about that, but I'm like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah, because you could only buy it in person in hardcover, which is like
$30 something.
Crazy. what's going on with the economy? Ain't nobody got money for this. That was The Moth and the Knight.
Yeah. The Knight and the Moth?
Oh, yeah.
The Knight and the Moth. It's, okay, similar books. We've talked about it before in the first episode, but The Songbird and the Heart of Stone, similar plot, similar religious overtones. It's a quest.
Carissa Broadbent.
Carissa Broadbent. Heroine, I think, is a little bit more likable.
Yeah,
I
would say so. Yeah.
Maybe. Like, I didn't like either one of them very much, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And then we also said
What Monstrous Gods by Rosamund Hodge. Very similar plot. I would also say Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Same, like, atmosphere, if that makes sense.
I feel resistant to comparing Uprooted to this
Really?
one.
In what direction? Because you didn't like Uprooted.
Oh, I did like Uprooted.
Oh.
But I think I liked Spinning Silver more.
I could see that.
But it just feels like Naomi Novik is, like, on another level.
That's
but
fair.
It does same vibe, same kind of pacing. But Naomi Novik, her language is better, her descriptors are better, her plotting is better.
I'll say if this one didn't itch your like fantasy storytelling plot line, I would read Uprooted. And then if you want more romance,
read Carissa Broadbent.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
The directionality. You're at a fork in the road. Yeah, I don't know. The Familiar, if you want something more like religious-y.
Yeah.
It was a
fine.
book. It was good. I read it. Because I feel like it's a book that would haunt me. I would like, if I didn't read it, I would like see the cover.
You would wonder.
Yeah.
Well, and then you were sold because you started reading it before I did. And you're like, no, this is good. Like, look at these descriptions. I'm like, I started reading like, oh, this is good. Like, it's first person, but it doesn't read like first person. And then you get to like that 30-40% mark and you're like,
that's what happened to me. Because I was stuck. We were stuck together in a room at work, and not literally, but kind of literally. And that's when I got to like the 50% mark. And then I didn't read it again until I like had to finish it.
Oh, yeah. I was traveling, and so I did not allow myself to open any other books until I finished this one.
That's clever. See, I should have done that, but then, Measure of a Man was an audiobook, so I could just play that whenever. And
that
then I was
is cheating, and I do not approve.
So cheating. But it's just so good.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yes.
It's fine. Our next book is going, well, it's kind of an in-between book. This is to tide us over until we get to Rose and Chains by Julie Soto. But
I forgot what book we're reading.
So we're going to have one episode for this book.
Yep.
It is a Sherry Thomas book, but
it's fantasy.
Like young adult fantasy.
Yeah, and I read this before Jordan did.
This is called The Burning Sky. It'll be available next week.
Yes. Oh, yeah, because this is part 2.
I DNF'd it.
I DNF'd the second one on my second read through. But the first time I read these, I loved these. So if you have a teenager in your life, these are good books.
These are great books. Yeah. So that'll be next week, and then Rose and Chains, and then more to come. So our shelf to yours? Yes, continue, please.
Yes, on our shelf. We'll see you on the next page. Hi, readers. Like what you've been hearing? Check out the Spice Archive at notanotherheroine.com to see all of our reviews and ratings. And if you'd like to support our growing library, find us on Patreon and get access to exclusive bonus content.
If you'd like to just listen, we post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Thanks for listening.